It's ready.
Okay, this is the applicant's practical test checklist. The first section that we'll be starting with today is the personal records. So if you could please show me all of your personal records.
All right, inside my book here, the CFI book, I have all my personal records ready to go. I'll start off with I've also printed them all up for you here. So I have my ID here. I have my pilot certificate here, a medical certificate, Form 8710, the airman certificate, and rating application supplemental information and instructions form. And I have your $600 already.
Okay, is that it?
Yes.
Okay, moving on to acceptable aircraft documents. Could you please explain to me what those documents are?
All right. We have the airworthiness certificate for the Bristol Light Sport aircraft, and I also have a certificate of registration for the Bristol aircraft. Those are the necessary documents required to be able to fly this plane. Also, I have the logbooks and the current 100-hour inspection.
Okay. Can you please go on to tell me about the personal equipment that you have today?
The personal equipment. Oh, so I have a sectional chart ready for us to go. I have the computer and plotter, which is the E6B here. I have a flight plan form that we can fill out, or we can file a digital flight plan through the AOPA website, but also have a flight plan form here. I do have a log for our flight today, and I have the current for our AIM book, as you can see here. It's a nice big book here for our AIM 2018 edition. And I have the current airport facilities directory 2018, valid to February 2018.
Okay. Moving on, can you tell me a little bit about the origin of this aircraft that we'll be flying in today?
Today we'll be flying in a Bristol Light Sport aircraft. It is most of it's built in the Czech Republic.
Do you know anything about the model?
This is a NG5. It also has a Rotex 912 engine.
Okay, what kind of aircraft is the plane that we're flying in today classified as?
It's classified as a SLSA, which is a special light sport aircraft.
Okay. What else can it be certified as?
An ELSA or an SLSA.
Okay. What kind of engine is this aircraft powered by?
Powered by a Rotex 912 100 horsepower and 4-stroke engine.
Okay.
With 8 spark plugs.
What is the approximate fuel burn rate?
Fuel burn rate is 5 gallons per hour at approximately 5,000 RPMs.
What kind of carburetors does this aircraft have?
It has 2 carburetors in this engine, which are ram cooled. So, it's just the forced air coming through the engine compartment is actually what cools off the carbs.
The aircraft has 2 wing options. Can you tell me what those are?
We have a short wing option in the Bristol, and we also have a long wing option.
Okay. Should icing be encountered, what should be used?
Should icing start on the carburetors, we should use carburetor heat to prevent any icing in the engine compartment.
How is this aircraft cooled?
Is ram cooled by forced air coming through the engine compartment.
Okay, I'm looking for two specific components.
Let's see. It's air cooled and also water cooled.
Okay. And what special feature does it have for cold starting the engine?
It has a choke. We always use a choke when starting the plane, say under like 40 degrees or a cold start, the first start of the day.
Okay. What must be burped to check the oil level?
The engine must be burped to check the oil level. What we do is like we rotate the propeller in a counteraction motion, and that allows the oil to go back up to the reserve. So, and then when it goes back up into the reserve container, we are able at that time to check the dipstick to make sure that the oil is at its proper levels.
Okay. Where must the oil level be indicated on the portion of the dipstick?
Well, on this particular dipstick in that Bristol, it has a flat portion, and you want the oil to be at least in the flat portions of the dipstick.
Okay. What is recommended to do to the engine when the temperature is 32 degrees Fahrenheit or below?
Anytime that the engine is, 32 degrees or below, you want to preheat the engine. Inside the engine compartment, you'll find an electrical cord. An electrical cord will then heat up the container that actually holds the oil. If your engine oil is not warm, then it's like molasses, and engine oil is used to help cool the engine and also lubricate the engine. So therefore, you don't want to start your engine up and have cold oil because it's going to make your engine run sluggish a while until it actually warms up enough to be able to circulate throughout the whole engine. So therefore, it's always recommended to preheat the engine with the heater prior to starting under 32 degrees.
Okay, can you tell me what the approximate wingspan of the aircraft is?
Yeah, there's because there's two different types of wings on the Bristol. I believe that um, there's a short wing that's about 21 feet, and there's also the long wing at about 31 feet.
And okay, what point above ground level should the flaps be retracted?
Let's see. Flaps should be retracted when you're basically 150 feet above the ground.
Okay.
You can start to retract the flaps depending upon how much flaps you actually had in prior.
Okay. Are the rudder pedals adjustable?
And then we're still the rudder pedals are adjustable. You can like bring them forward or back based based upon how tall you are.
Okay. And who are the toe brakes for?
Toe brakes are for the pilot and the passenger. So there's dual toe brakes.
Okay. Where is the static port located?
The static port is located on the fuselage, back at the baggage department area.
Okay. What's the gross weight of the aircraft?
Gross weight of the aircraft is, I believe it's 756 pounds is the gross weight. And maximum takeoff weight is 1,320 pounds.
Okay. The gross weight is 1,320 pounds.
No, 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 no. The gross weight is 760 pounds.
The empty weight is
Yeah.
748 pounds.
Yeah, the empty weight is 700.
And the gross weight is
1,320.
Yeah, you said something else.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, 1,320 is a
Empty weight.
no. The empty weight is 756 pounds.
Okay, well that's not what I have on my document here.
I have here that the gross weight is 1,320 pounds. Empty weight is 756 pounds.
Okay, well I have 748, but we'll keep moving forward. What?
Okay, okay. Oh, you mean 748? So 748 is for 34432 Bravo Lima is 748, and the empty weight of Papa Tango is 756.
Correct. Okay.
Is that what you were asking for?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. How many pounds can the wing lockers hold? Each wing locker.
Each wing locker, I'm thinking about 8 pounds. Wait a minute, no, 44 pounds. Each wing locker can hold 44 pounds.
Okay. And behind the seats?
33
By
pounds.
each capacity. Okay. What's the maximum takeoff weight?
1,320 pounds.
Okay. And where's the datum located?
The datum is located on the fuselage. The actual datum is located on the leading edge of the wing at rib number 4.
What's the maximum landing weight?
Maximum landing weight is 1,320.
Okay. Minimum crew weight?
Minimum who?
Crew weight?
121 pounds.
Okay. What are the load factors?
The maximum G-force levels are plus or minus 4. And minus 2 negative.
Okay. What's the fuel capacity in each wing tank?
Each wing tank holds approximately 15.8 gallons, which is a total of 31.6.
Okay. What kind of fuel does it require?
You can use either automobile, gasoline, or 100 low lead.
Okay.
Or if you're using automobile gas, you can use like 91 octane.
When using the 100 LL fuel, you should keep your RPMs you should keep your RPMs at or above what number to prevent lead buildup?
I would say 2,500, probably. So you're saying the mine's low. So probably keep the above 5,000 RPMs.
Yes. At or above 5,000 RPMs. That's correct.
Okay.
How many fuel drains are there on the aircraft?
There's 3 fuel drains, 1 on each wing, and 1 located right near the gasculator.
Okay. Each engine has what kind of a fuel pump?
There's an electric fuel pump and a manual fuel pump. So, well, there's an electric and a mechanical fuel pump.
Correct. Fuel is supplied by either selecting
Well, there's either you have to have the fuel selector on either the left or the right for the fuel to be able to come through.
Okay. What kind of electrical system does the aircraft have?
The electrical system has a 12-volt battery.
And where is that located?
That's located. It's located behind the firewall in the engine compartment.
Okay, if needed, what kind of oil does the aircraft need?
It can use Aeroshell or Sport Plus. It holds approximately like 3 quarts.
Okay. By what means are the cylinder heads cooled?
Cylinder heads are cooled by oil and or antifreeze.
Would you say though that they're air cooled or water cooled?
In this particular aircraft, I'm going to say that they're water cooled.
That is correct. With what kind of, they're water cooled then? So the cylinder heads are water cooled with what kind of a mixture of Prestone, Dex, Cool?
50-50.
Yep. Okay. Cylinders are cooled by,
By ram air. Air just ramming right into the engine compartment.
okay. The coolant level should be where on, should be between what points on the overflow bottle?
And it should be up to the line on the overflow container.
Okay.
So it should be no lower than the minimum level.
So you would say that they should be in between the minimum and the maximum?
Yes.
Okay. This particular aircraft is approved for steep turns not exceed up to how many degrees?
60 degrees is the maximum bank that's allowed in this airplane.
Okay. Is this aircraft approved for day and night flights, VFR?
Yes.
Can I fly IFR or IMC?
No.
Please tell me the minimum instruments and equipment for VFR flights.
You have your airspeed indicator, your altimeter, your fuel quantity, your tachometer, and oil pressure and cylinder head pressure temperatures.
What is the never exceed speed?
Never exceed speed in the Bristol is 145 knots.
What is the maximum structural cruising speed?
Maximum structural cruising speed is 115 knots.
What is the maneuvering speed?
89 knots.
What is the maximum flap extension speed?
The maximum speed with flaps extended is 75 knots.
What's the best angle of climb speed?
The best angle of climb is going to be 60 knots.
What's the best rate of climb speed?
The best rate of climb speed would be 65 knots.
7. What is the stall speed with full flaps?
With your flaps fully extended, your plane would stall at about 39 knots.
What is the optimum glide speed?
Optimum glide speed is 65 knots.
Maximum crosswind takeoff and landing speed?
The maximum takeoff and landing, you mean like crosswind component?
Correct.
Yeah, the maximum that we want to encounter is a 15 knot crosswind.
Okay. Moving on to airspeed markings. What is the flap operating range on the white arc?
That's between 32 and 75 is the maximum white arc flaps operating range.
Okay, on the green arc, what is the normal operating range?
The green arc is this one you operate in between 39 and 115.
What on the yellow arc, what is the caution range?
Caution range on the yellow arc is when you're going above safety, so between 115 and 145.
On the red line, what is the never exceed speed?
145.
Okay, moving on to engine operating speeds limits as far as the engine RPMs. What is the maximum takeoff RPM?
Maximum takeoff RPM is 5,200. No, 5,500. You don't want to go above 5,500 for more than 2 minutes.
The maximum takeoff RPM is 5,800.
Okay, 5,800.
What's the maximum continuous RPM?
5,500.
The maximum cruise RPMs?
Natural cruise. Depending upon, you can go anywhere from like 48 to 5,500 RPMs.
Okay, the minimum idle RPMs?
You don't want your engine below 1,400 RPMs.
Okay. Warm-up RPMs?
Oh, initially you should, once your engine is on, you should go up to about 2,000 RPMs for about 2 minutes.
Mm-hmm. And then increase it to what?
Then increase it to like 2,500.
Okay. And what's the ignition check RPMs?
The ignition check RPMs. Matt, can you say that question again?
For the ignition check, what should the RPMs be?
4,000.
Okay. Moving on to the cylinder head temperature. What is the optimum temperature for the cylinder head temp?
Temperature. It should be no higher than 230. So like between 170 and 230.
Okay. What is the caution range for cylinder head temperature?
248. Anything above 248.
I'm sorry, I'm going to need you to be more specific. 248 to...
From 248 to 276.
Okay. Moving on to oil temperature. What's the minimum for run-up and takeoff?
The minimum oil temperature should be about 42 degrees.
In what unit?
I mean, sorry, you said the minimum.
The minimum oil temperature for run-up and takeoff.
122 degrees.
Okay. The maximum oil temperature?
Should go no higher than 266.
The optimum oil temperature?
Between 122 and 266. So I would say something like 176 to 230.
Okay. And the oil temperature caution range, what is that?
270, 230 to 266.
What is the minimum oil pressure?
Oil pressure should be at about 12 psi.
As a minimum?
Yes.
Okay. What is the maximum?
102.
Okay. And the optimum?
Should be between 29 and 73 psi.
Okay. Explain to me the flight instructor characteristics and responsibilities.
Let's see. Flight instructor characteristics and responsibilities. I'll just check my little notes here just to make sure that I just give you exactly what you want here. I put this one down a little bit better. I had it right here in front of me, so characteristics and responsibilities. So with the instructor, we want to make sure that we are always very professional because we are the people that students are going to come to first. We want to do a lot of study and research all the time. We want to always be learning. We also should be constantly alert for ways to improve, on our craft. Along with that, we always are going to be helping students to learn. So we always want to make sure that the environment that we teach them in is, nice, clean, nice, bright place with all the materials that we could possibly use, with whiteboards or computers or props or whatever we may need um, to succeed. We also want to make sure that we give all students a syllabus. I think syllabus are very important in teaching students in today's society because they like to know what's coming up and what's coming up next, and it helps me to be prepared to know what the students expect. Students know what I expect, and ultimately, we might be able to save a student some time and money by having a proper syllabus.
Okay, can you tell me a little bit about the teaching methods that you plan on implementing?
Yeah, my teaching methods that I'm going to use is um, I could either use like a lecture method, I could use a group method, or I could use something like a computer-based training method. We found out that the lecture method normally works best. Computer-based training is also very important because this allows the student to go at their own pace, and also sometimes we even get into groups, heterogeneous groups where everyone can learn from each other, and this is really nice because it it encourages participation from everybody that's involved. So this is a really good teaching method. And, make sure that no one is like trying to fall through the cracks because each person will have to answer some questions at some time.
Okay, moving on to technical subject areas, can you tell me about the logbook entries and certificate endorsements?
Let's see, logbook, certificate, and endorsement. So you know, for an instructor, I'm going to be really in charge of you know making sure that a student has all of his endorsements, as far as like being able to fly into different airspaces. Also, um, I would have to do a let's see where I want to do this. There's a flyby. Hey, can I come back to that question?
Yep, absolutely.
Okay.
We'll go ahead and move on to, can you tell me about visual scanning and what you do to avoid collisions?
All right. So when we're flying, we want to make sure that 80 to 90% of our time is outside the plane. I always like to teach, and I was taught just to divide uh, my sight into like 10-second increments. I'm going to look, at 9 o'clock, at 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock. I'm going to come back inside, do my visual references inside the plane, and then I'm going to have my head back outside the plane. This is a good situational awareness. This helps decrease any in-air collisions. So that's pretty much what I'm aiming for.
Okay, then moving on to pre-flight lesson on a maneuver to be performed in flight. Can you tell me how the maneuver lesson would go?
All right, so if I'm going to teach a maneuver, uh, one of the things I want to do first is make sure that I clear the area. And to clear the area, what I would do is I want to make a left 90-degree turn to the left. I'll be visually scanning for any aircraft, and then I'm going to make a 90-degree turn to the right, where I'll be looking for any aircraft, coming into the area that we would be doing our lesson. Then, for light sport pilots, I would also be teaching them, turns around a point, takeoffs and landings, a rectangular course, and turns about a point.
Okay.
So did that answer your question?
Yes.
Okay.
Moving on to areas of operation, we're going to talk about the pre-flight preparation and what goes into that. Can you tell me about the water and seaplane characteristics?
Well, I would be able to tell you about water and seaplane characteristics, but this test is about airplane single engine land, which is ASEL. So I haven't studied anything for seaplane because this airplane is not equipped for seaplane landings.
Okay. Can you just go ahead and tell me about the principles of flight then?
The principles of flight. Now there's there's the principles of flight are basically, you're gonna have thrust, and each one like counteracts the other. So you're gonna have thrust. If you have thrust, you're gonna have drag, and if you have weight, you're also gonna have lift, and these counter out each other, and in a steady level flight, they actually counter out it.
So how about
Out.
at steady level flight, they're at equilibrium?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay, would you just say, like, briefly what each of those principles do?
Well, thrust is going to be from the propeller, so you're going to get thrust, and then because of the weight of the aircraft, after the air passes from the propeller, then that's when you're going to wind up having drag, and you actually need more power to increase lift.
Okay. Moving on to pre-flight procedures, can you tell me a little bit about engine starting?
All right, so on the Bristol and the POH of the for the Bristol, we want to go ahead and make sure that we have, all the flight controls are. Oh, wait a minute. Can you say that one more time? Just want to make sure that I have exactly what you want.
Well, we're talking about pre-flighting procedures here, so just tell me during your pre-flight, how you would go about starting your engine.
Oh, okay. All right. So I was confused. I didn't know whether you didn't whether you wanted me to talk about the pre-flight or actually talk about starting the engine. With this, we would go through our checklist that we have here. We're going to go with the ignition being off. We'll turn the master switch on. The fuel gauge. We'll turn that left or right to make sure that we're coming out of whichever tank that we see the most full. We'll turn the master switch on. We'll make sure the master switch is off first. Avionics, turn that on. And the control systems, we're going to make sure that they are all like free and clear. Make sure there's nothing like hitting them, and make sure that they all move like nice and smooth.
Okay. And can you tell me about what goes on during your pre-flight inspection?
For my pre-flight inspection, my pre-flight inspection starts the moment that I see the airplane. Immediately I'm looking, on the ground to see if I see any oil dripping. I'm looking at my tires just to see if I have any flat tires or even bald tires, or if there's not enough pressure in any tires. I'm looking at it from there. Then from there, I go ahead and I open the canopy up, and if it's the first start of the day, I'm going to go ahead and burp the engine. And as I burp the engine, then I'm able to check the oil. And I have to make sure the oil is in the flat part of the dipstick. And then also that time I can also check the antifreeze coolant level. From there, I'm going to make sure that the propeller looks nice and good. I'm going to check and make sure that there's no clogs from the radiator. Then I will start my walk around to the other side of the wing. I'm checking, making sure that there's like not any lights out. I'm making sure that there's no damage to the wing. Then I'm checking the right aileron, making sure that one's free and clear. As I'm checking that aileron, I'm also checking the stick inside the plane to make sure that it's moving to the left and moving to the right and it's free and clear. And then from there, I'm going back along the fuselage and making sure that my static port is clear. I'm also making sure that my tie down on that wing is also clear. Making sure that the pitot heat tube looks clear. Make sure there's not any blockage there. And then I'm going back to the elevator of the plane, making sure there's no damage there on the elevator. Also, I always take a look underneath the fuselage just in case somebody came in and they actually maybe had pulled back too much and had a situation and they actually struck the tail, with the ground. So it's very important that you always check underneath. Then I would remove the rear tie down, check the elevator and the vertical stabilizer to make sure that those are free and clear. I'll come up the other side and check the aileron, and again from that side, take down the tie down and make sure that the ailerons are free and clear from that end.
Okay. Moving on to takeoffs, landings, and go-arounds. Can you tell me what happens during a go-around or a reject landing?
Yeah, on the go around, we want to make sure, uh, you know, as we're teaching the student, there always could be emergencies on a runway. There could be birds, there could be other aircraft, there could be other vehicles on a runway by some mysterious chance when you're coming around to final. So on uh, a aborted landing, we want to we always want to make sure that let's see, yeah. So on aborted landing, we're gonna let everyone know that it's an aborted landing, and we're just gonna full power. And then after we have a positive rate of climb, we will slowly retract the flaps and adjust the trim to a normal takeoff position and proceed back into the traffic pattern.
I think that's clear.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, cool.